Once, beyond the rolling mist of the Gildering Hills, there was a forest no one dared enter after twilight. Not because it was cursed, or haunted, or filled with beasts, though many stories said so, but because of the Ember tree. They said it glowed like fire under moonlight, that if you stood near it too long, you would dream things you weren't meant to know. Some said it showed you your death. Others claimed it showed your truest desire, then took it away. In the village of Whirl, nestled just a mile from the forest's edge, lived a girl named Solon. She was clever, curious, and unafraid of strange things. Raised by her grandfather, a retired cartographer with one glass eye and 1,000 maps, Solon had grown up hearing about places most people only whispered of. The Ember tree was his favorite tale. He said he'd seen it once during a red moon, and it had changed him. "Changed you how?" Solon would ask. He'd just tap his glass eye and say, "Some truths you only need one eye to see." On the eve of her 13th birthday, Solon stood at the edge of the woods, a lantern in one hand, and her grandfather's old compass in the other. She decided it was time to see the Ember tree for herself. The forest welcomed her not with fear, but with stillness. Not a bird called, not a twig snapped. Her boots crunched the frost-hardened leaves as she walked deeper into the hush. Then, she saw it. It stood alone, in a small clearing, its branches bare yet pulsing with orange-red veins like molten glass. The light from it was soft, but it hummed against her skin like a memory. She stepped closer, and suddenly, she was no longer in the forest. She stood in her grandfather's cottage, but it was different, dustier, quieter. On the table lay a folded map and a letter sealed with wax. Outside the window, snow fell. She looked down. Her hands were old, wrinkled. A voice behind her. "I never did get to show you what was beyond the hollow sea." She turned. There he was. Younger than she remembered, the way he looked before the glass eye. Tears stung her eyes. "This is a dream." He smiled. "A truth. Not all truths live in waking hours." The world shimmered, folded inward, and she was back in the forest. The Ember tree stood silent, still glowing. In her hand now was the map from the dream, and the compass needle spun wildly before settling, pointing not north, but inward. She returned to Whirl before sunrise. Her grandfather was waiting, sitting by the fire with a knowing smile. "You saw it," he said. Solon nodded. "It showed me where I'm going." He tapped his glass eye. "Then you're truly ready to begin." And from that day forward, Solon was no longer just a girl from Whirl. She was a mapper of unknown lands, a seeker of hidden truths, a storyteller who didn't just tell tales. She walked through them. All because she dared to meet the Ember tree and listen.